Yo, my bad, I'm on mute. I'm gonna get started like in 2 minutes. Alright, fuck it. Let's get started. Um, um, I don't know if you in here, Ramiro, but if you're asking me about selling IBM right at open, I wouldn't. Give it a few minutes, let prices settle. So I'm gonna cover SPY real quick. I'm not doing too much today, unless we get triggers. Some trades like IBM will probably take off right at open, but other than that, I'm probably not gonna do too much. We're still around the same ranges as yesterday, so I don't see any reason to add to trades, and I don't see any reason to take them off. I'm gonna just wait a bit, be patient, and see what side of the range we break out to. But for SPY, let's cover the action real quick. So this was, or these are the levels we've been tracking, right? So wanted to see a bounce from these levels. We got the bounce. This is this right here. Then we got the pullback, which was this pullback. Currently right around these levels, right? So assuming we remain around these levels, theoretically, the path is up. Next targets should be around 550 if we manage to do this, right? But what you need to be careful with today is we could potentially get rejected into this area here. If we get rejected into this area here, then we can see this back to the lowered levels. But the path we had originally drawn out is a little higher, right? So for today, you want to stay tactical on the lower time frames. If we get above 536.50, I would be careful. Let me double check. Is that the level? Yes. If we get above 536.50, I'd be careful being short. So we can squeeze to 550 potentially pretty fast. And I told you guys just a couple days ago, like it's developing rather quickly. These are not the drawings. There it is. Cover this up. So this is what we discussed from sub 510, and it's developing rather quickly. Got rejected into the previous monthly low, which was here, pulled back into this little zone. Now the next step, if they want it, is this bounce higher into that 550. And then maybe another pullback before going higher, or they could just go straight higher if they really wanted to. But we discussed the potential of these higher targets being delivered when we were down here. So at this point, again, want to see what happens on the 3 minute, or not even on the 3 minute, just today. Below 535, I'd remain, you can potentially try sells. Let's get that rectangle back. Below 536.50, again, you could potentially take those sells, right? But anywhere above this zone, you want to be careful because that's where they're probably going to start that squeeze up higher and to pretend that 550 zone. Did I move this? Why does it look like that? Oh, I didn't. Yeah, so into that 550. And those comments are pretty much going to apply to everything. So let's say you're short Netflix, you're short PM, you're short McDonald's, you're short Walmart, any name you're short. If the market does give us this breakout above that 536.50 zone, chances are whatever stock you're short is also going to break out. So I'd consider taking profits, managing, taking off, stop loss, do whatever you got to do to manage those trades. If we do stay below, again, you can maybe stay in those sells. But it's looking a little choppy here at the open. Berkshire, for example, this morning, or even a couple candles ago, it looked really clean to the downside. Now on these upticks, you got to be careful because if we do break out, they're going higher. So just be careful today if you're short anything. If we get the breakdowns, great. We should see lower prices, but be mindful, nothing guarantees as we will break down. And if you are shorting everything into the supports, like here, Berkshire support, T-Mobile, I wouldn't necessarily say this is support, but there is a thin layer of support here. So again, just be mindful what you're shorting into. This looks a little better maybe. McDonald's actually looks good. If we flip back below these levels, we have a lot of downside pressure and targets. But again, just be tactical. It doesn't matter what stock it is. Walmart, it looks okay. Yeah, see, it looks okay for a breakdown, but again, nothing guarantees. Nothing guarantees we're gonna break down, right? We're literally into the levels of potential support. So we either break down versus breakout, but it's kind of hard to make guesses here if I'm being honest with you. So don't let SPY tell you its direction. So again, above 536.50, consider maybe taking them off, and then above, you'd be all right to hold if anything. Sorry, if you're short, below is fine, and then above, take them off. Does anyone have any questions about any specific setups I've sent out or any trades you guys might have? 1,050. Yeah, see Netflix, even Netflix, we've literally been chopping here for a couple of days. TLT pushing above 88 here. Let's see what UCAD is doing. My largest bag ever for sure. On IBM, I just saw your message, Ramiro. I doubt that's your largest bag ever. By size, like how much money did you put in it? We haven't even opened. How do you know you're gonna be green? You're not in the money. But it's not that crazy of a trade if you're talking about IBM. UNH moved a lot on earnings. That was like what, 20%, but IBM only did like 6%. So I don't think it'll be that crazy on the payout. We'll see. Damn, I thought it was really dry today. One thing I'm watching today as well for froth is Bitcoin. I mentioned Bitcoin trade yesterday. So for now, I'm still was it not on this chart? Where we go? Damn. So I said below 93.50 we can sell. So far it's been doing that, but we did leave a little bit of liquidity on the upside, and on the downside, if I had to guess, we're gonna break down, retest this these double bottom wicks. So maybe something like this, but again, be careful. They can go into EQ or higher if they really wanted to. I know you guys don't trade forex or futures, but that Bitcoin trade is still pretty clean to the downside. You DM me. Let's see. Bro, what are you doing? Alright, bro. You already fucking did it. Don't sell that open. Yes, maybe. First of all, bro, respectfully, I'm telling you, bro, like if you want to do stupid shit, I'm not like if you're gonna take that size of a trade anyway, you know, just ask. Be like, ask me like, hey, what do you think is a good trade to take? I want to take this much size, whatever. So fuck it, you already did it. You should hopefully be green. One thing I will say is don't sell right at open. Why do I say don't sell right at open? Let me cover it real quick. Or I swear you wildin'. So if you just saw my comments on Bitcoin, again, if we stay below EQ or just anywhere below here, you want to see a flip into any of these levels, right, to push lower. If we do start breaking above EQ, that is going to be your sign to exit. But anywhere into these levels, you're fine to hold on to that MSTR trade. And let me show you the levels on MSTR. So the reason I'm telling you can potentially hold on to that trade is we kind of gap down, which is never really a great sign if you're short. Yes, it's good because you're gonna get paid out, but anytime you leave an open gap, you have to go close that gap. So it creates a potential problem. The good thing is we gap down from this level, right? gap down. Now we're pretty much closing the gap. So you're not really quote unquote getting paid out from you know, where we were at. Obviously, if you shorted up here when I mentioned it, yeah, you're green on the trade, whatever. But the good thing is, one, we left liquidity lower overnight, so you already have targets. So this helps you for creating downside pressure. Now all you need is to respect this level. Same thing as Bitcoin, respect resistance until you Q. You get overnight targets, which is fine, that's cool. But realistically, I want this right here. And if you do get that, you got your GP here, you'll get paid out on those. So again, you have liquidity overnight as your first potential targets. You see the harmonics, sorry, not the harmonics, the fibs, they line up. You got your 618, 2618, 3618, 4618. They line up. You'll get your targets, theoretically, right? Assuming we break down from here. That's cool. But the real payout is going to be below this level if we get into GP, which is around 325. Your contracts would be about, what, 20 bucks in the money? You got 4 of them, 20 by 4, quick maths. So if you want to take some off, go for it. But again, you already took the risk. You're already in them, and these are potential targets. Try to hold on to them for a bit, or reduce risk, hold on to a few, and then maybe into these lows, take off a few, and then take off the rest into here, or leave a runner in case you get this, your call. But I'd for sure probably hold on to them a bit if you can. You already took the fucking risk, which is like whatever, bro. I'm telling you, like, if you guys tell me, hey, I want to risk 10K, fuck it, it's your money, bro. I'll tell you, you can take this, and I'll help you take a balanced trade. But if you guys just take stupid big ass trades in size and it doesn't work out, and then you come to me next day like, oh shit, I did this, it's gonna be, you know, I can't always help you guys after the fact. So fuck it, you already did it. You're probably gonna get paid, so cool. Congrats, like fuck it, it was a good trade. I told you guys, just expensive. But yeah, just hit me up next time, bro. You wild. Fuck you. Yeah, just wait a bit. Like I said, he already took the risk. You could probably see 334, the overnight lows, maybe even 325 today. So shit, a couple 20 bucks extra per contract, don't mind me. But again, if we do start breaking out right at the open, maybe above 346, or the real level to watch is EQ 348.50. But even 346, I'd be cautious. So you got like a $250 range above there to watch. And if you do decide to sell, just make sure you let prices settle. Look at the spreads. Make sure the spreads aren't like, I know they're wide already, but you know, something not super ridiculous where you're getting finessed on the prices. GLD coming down a bit and my mouse died. And then IBM, I don't know what you plan on doing with it, but like I said, I'm gonna probably get rid of my 230s. I don't know if I'm gonna get rid of all of them or maybe leave some, but we'll see. And then the 215s, if they're like really green or kind of green, anything over 100%, maybe I'll take some off. But if they're just like mild greens, I'll probably leave those. But the 230s, I'm gonna probably take those off. So as for anyone that isn't in any trades, we discussed the potential breakout scenario here on SPY into the zone. So if we stay below that, your sales might be okay. If we do start breaking out, be careful being short on anything. But assuming the shorts are going to work and we are going to break down from this area, theoretically, the thesis remains the same. You want to short anything that is up. Just overall. Like the G isn't the best name, but something closer to the highs. Like PM is okay. It looks like it wants to break down. We did leave liquidity higher. So if they hold these levels, it could go back into the 2618, maybe even into the 3618. But for now, you want to watch a breakdown of this level. I did nibble yesterday on the open a little bit to. So pretty much the ER trade, obviously, I think everyone got out of that. So cool, that's great. That one ended up. What was the percent? I don't remember the exact percent, but pretty much this was max loss. So I added up here to lower my average, but I might have to take those off, assuming SPY breaks out. If SPY does not break out, then that's fine. T-Mobile looks okay. Visa yesterday, we discussed this, but again, a lot of names coming into resistance versus breakout levels. So just be super mindful taking any positions here. Yes, the downside on Visa and many names looks great, but at the same time, you need to be mindful there is also a lot of potential upside. So let's throw some fibs on here real quick. What time is it? We got 6 minutes. So let's throw fibs from low to high. From low to high. Currently, let's flip this. Currently trading into the 618. So if you guys know how I feel about GPs, let's say we do break out above the 618, we're going to 786, which is a significant amount higher, right? So if we don't get these breakdowns today, like I said, on SPY, Visa, T-Mobile, so again, breakdown from here, McDonald's breakdown from here, like a lot of names into support versus resistance areas. And if we don't get the breakdowns across the board, again, just go ahead and probably take some of that size off on the shorts. We'll try to add maybe later next week or after Apple earnings. But what I definitely don't want is everyone to be short here into next week, and then maybe we have like a massive rally on Apple earnings, and everyone's underwater on your positions. If you have time, which we really don't, because if you're holding the May 16th going into next week, you're gonna have 2 weeks left after that, so you don't really have that much time to manage. And then also, don't know how much capital you guys have left to the side. So if you have money to scale in, time, etc., different story. But I don't think that's the case for everyone. So just be mindful here if we don't get the breakdowns. Nice little rejection into that zone at 536.50 for SPY. But again, let's see what we get at open. I'm not trading Tesla. Why is this on my screen? SPY may not affect me as much as NASDAQ. I'm not sure what you're talking about. I did go over KO, I think, or maybe not. Same comment. Literally, the comment I made applies to every single thing. KO, Walmart, McDonald's, anything. Everything into support / resistance. Same way KO could break to the upside, it could break to the downside here. Everything's literally like at a 50-50 here. So I'll just leave it up to SPY. Like I said, SPY above 536.50, I'd be careful being short. And if we're below, you guys are cool to sit on sells across the board. Kind of hard to speak on it on 30 trades at once, so everyone manage their own trades, but generally speaking, sure, if SPY's above 536.50, I'd be careful or refrain from being short, and if we stay below, those sales should work. 3 minutes to open, so good luck to everybody. I'm gonna probably go on mute a couple minutes at the open. Have a few things to manage today. Honestly, guys, I love doing the streams and all that, but it's kind of hard to stream and manage trades, so we'll see. I'm gonna make some changes for sure after something I saw this morning, but yeah, we'll see. Apple pushing here pre-market, not into the open. So let's see what SPY does into that 536.50. Again, anywhere above this zone, be careful being short. And then TLT getting rejected into that EQ at 88.12. So that is also going to be something to watch. We want to see TLT push higher. Literally everything into pinpoints. TLT pinpoint, SPY pinpoint, Apple, somewhat of a pinpoint, MSTR, gold. $620. Yeah, see on the 620s you have time. And then McDonald's 516. That one we'll see what's up today. I like the levels, but we need to get back under 318.50 today. And then right now we got upticks on GJ and UCAD, which makes 0 cents. They should not be trading together. KO right at open. Oof, what is that? Right off the open. What is going on? Look at McDonald's. Yikes. Apple higher. Nasty. Just nasty. There's no way you would have had time to get in that. So good thing we in that from yesterday, because that was literally right off the rip. Don't chase. If you went from yesterday, cool, but I'd be careful chasing these drops here. I might fuck around and take J&J. Interesting setups here. So SPY into that 536.50, Berkshire into the lows, KO down, MSTR into the highs, McDonald's down, TLT down. And the spreads on this are wide as fuck. SPY, my bad. I was taking care of some orders. SPY into that top range now, trying to push above. So again, just watch the zone. As long as we're below, you guys are fine. Anything above, consider getting out. Gold starting to come down here a little bit. Trying to find something that looks decent. Netflix, fuck. I might have to take that one. I just nibbled on Netflix here into the Wickfield. If anyone wants to take it with me, good luck. This is going to be an aggressive trade here into the highs. Assuming we're going to flip, I'm going to try to scalp the weeklies here for a quick short. So pick your strike. Contracts are still a little pricey. We just popped about 25 bucks or 20, 30 bucks in a matter of a few minutes. So the thesis is target maybe 1050 or lower, 1050 to 1030 on those weeklies. And again, you can get paid out probably a bit, assuming we pull back from here. So again, target maybe 1050, 1040, assuming we break down from here on the markets. And that's a tactical aggressive trade. So if you're not fast, maybe not the best trade here. J&J super green. Not super green, but if you guys added it at 158.50, that one's doing pretty well here, leading to the downside. A lot of the swings are doing okay here. KO busting right now. Apple starting to flip. SPY coming down, rejected off that 536.50. MSTR pushing a little higher here. I don't know if you've managed or not, Ramiro. But if you haven't and you can hold on for a bit, I'd hold on. There's probably just a little squeeze before the drop to 325. Again, you already risked the money. You're already holding. If I were you, I'd probably just stick it out a couple more ticks. We'll probably get the flip here, and then into 325, you'll have a big payout on that. Small flip on Netflix. Let's see if I can get the breakdown. I'm gonna get rid of MSTR real quick, but like I said, you're probably okay to sit on that for a bit. So the thesis again, we just did this entire top range in a matter of minutes. I want to see if we can reclaim this, come back down to the lows, maybe even lower. And I'm taking that with the tactical fast trade on the weeklies. If you have other trades already, probably maybe not the best to add if you have like swings and stuff, or your call. But I'm taking it for a short into this level. Anywhere above 1075, I'm probably call it on this trade. And then I'm also watching SPY here. SPY above 536.50. Breakout versus breakdown here. Gold coming down a bit. Closing the gaps here. I want to see what happens on gold after we close the gap. Do we bounce from that gap close, or do we push? Do we bounce from the gap close, or do we continue coming down? SPY again into that 536.50. And again, if we do get breakouts here on SPY, I would refrain from being short on anything across the board. I get it. I issued a few sells. But that would be the point where you would consider managing those trades. I'm going to go on mute for 1 minute. You're probably about to get the flip on MSTR here. So just sit on that, gang. I'll put it up for you real quick. Right here, right here, right here. So let's see. Everybody pray for Ramiro, this bro. Do his whole port on MSTR puts. Nah, just like, nah, we'll see what's up. But yeah, if you get the flip here, you should hopefully get paid out into that 325. Top range here on Netflix. Let's see what happens. Oh, top tick on Netflix. Let's get it. Anyone take Netflix? Those lottos are super cheap. Not super cheap. They're still kind of pricey, but compared to what they was at yesterday, this is a bargain for sure. This is a tactical trade, like I said. Fast hands only. Break above here. You're probably gonna want to be out of that trade. And SPY pushing above that 536.50, or trying to. So definitely something to watch. TLT coming down. Let's see, did MSTR flip? Trying to. I'm watching Bitcoin on another screen, but sometimes you get red ticks on Bitcoin and you don't necessarily see them on MSTR. So I do like the action I'm seeing on Bitcoin. Small reds into 93k, but again, want to see MSTR flip. SPY pushing above that 536.50 here. All right, now we're getting some pretty deep reds on Bitcoin here. So there you go. Actually, yeah, see what I mean? Bitcoin had a much deeper red than this. We barely had to pull back on MSTR. So let's see if that continues down. Small bounce on Bitcoin. Moment of truth here. Still pretty early, but within the next 3 minutes, I think we should get clear development, whether they break below these lows or not. Should give us our answers, but as of now, SPY did break out above his resistance. Apple has not. Netflix still on watch here. This trade can be really clean one to the downside here if they manage to trigger. Let's see. on mute. I'm going over my port. I'm debating how to manage it. I have a few different trades. I'm gonna wait a couple minutes here. I'm still in that Netflix trade. Again, want to see it back under 1075, stay under. But one key thing I was watching was 536.50 on SPY for a potential breakdown versus breakout scenario. We are pushing above here into that 537. Let's zoom out a bit to get some more context. So in reality, we still have a lot of resistance to the left here. This entire zone that we broke down from yesterday. So a lot of overhead resistance to the left. But we kind of do have that path to 550 we mentioned above that 536.50 level if they want it. So let's see what the market decides here. Small pullback on Netflix, so that's cool. MSTR probably hasn't came down yet just because I'm watching Bitcoin. But that trade, oh what? That's interesting. Bitcoin hasn't really pulled back yet, but MSTR is coming down. Ramiro, bro, I'm telling you right now. I don't know if you in the chat you've sold, you haven't. I sold a little bit of IBM, but not really. Ramiro, I just saw your message. I thought they'd be way more green. They're barely even, not even 100% actually. I think I got paid like 90% on the 230s. So I'm gonna sit on those for a bit, see if they go deeper in the money. But for MSTR, I'm telling you, bro, you already took the fat ass risk. You get rewarded for taking risk. You already took the risk. Now reap your rewards. I hate when people take risky ass trades and then they're barely start getting paid, 20%, 10%, something small, and you're like, oh shit, I'm gonna take it off. It's like, no, dude, you took a risky ass trade to get that percentage. It doesn't make sense. If I wanted to make 20-30% on a trade, I would have bought some stock. So I'm just saying, your call, you decide when to sell. But theoretically, the idea is for 325 to trade on MSTR. 334 overnight lows probably will happen rather easily. But the area I'd say you want to get out is going to be into GP if you get it at that 325 level. So if that does come, I would consider taking off maybe 3 contracts or full there. But like I said, you already took the risk. You already held it overnight. You're here now. You're better off sitting on those contracts as hard as it is, as you see prices going up, going up, going up. I get it. It's hard to sit on hands and say, oh shit, I'm getting scared. I'm going to sell. If you do want to sell some, go for it. But I'm telling you, if you get that 325, that's where you're really going to reap your reward for taking that risk. Like I said, you already took the risk, which don't really condone it. It was ballsy. It is what it is. Respect it. Got to respect it, but it is pretty stupid to be honest with you. But fuck it, here we are. So again, you get the breakdown, you're gonna get cashed out, but try to hold into 325 so you can really reap your rewards on that trade. We'll see. Just DM me if you got questions at any point, if you're getting nervous, like, yo, what do I do or whatever. But again, I think you already took the risk. Try to hold it into that 325 if you can. We'll see. SPY small pullback, Netflix pullback off that 1045. 1075. All right, we're getting some bigger pullbacks here on Bitcoin. We'll see. Gold slipping a little bit right here. Gold I'm not really too interested in, honestly, until we get back under 300. For now, it's just a range to me. Massive range, if I'm being honest with you guys. Watching this level here to see if we bounce into this level we had discussed earlier, which was your gap close at 305.50 per se. So we can bounce off these levels, right, and go back higher. If we do come down, again, I'm not really concerned. Well, not concerned, because it would benefit me if we come down, but I'm not too interested or not doing much until we get under 300. Whoops, I don't know what I did. And TLT, small bounce here, which is good development. Again, you don't want to see the breakdown on TLT if you were short on the markets, and you want to see the markets roll over here. But look at SPY, decent push above that 536.50. So again, be careful here if you are short, if we don't get the markets rolling over here pretty soon. Coca-Cola had those fat reds right off the open, recovered everything, now right back at the opening range. How much is green today? T-Mobile, maybe McDonald's. Oh, I forgot. We have T-Mobile earnings after hours. Whoever's still in T-Mobile, keep in mind we have earnings. So far, I'm 1 out of 2 PM earnings. Smoked the contract. So if you're in PM, you got smoked. If you were in IBM lottos for ER, you got paid. So far 1 out of 2. Do what you want with that info. If you want to hold T-Mobile for ER, again, to each his own, but we do have ER today after the close. So if you're still in the 516 swing, just be mindful. And then V had that small rejection off the levels we discussed yesterday. I'm also watching that one here. See if we break back below these lows and push lower as discussed pre-market, or we bounce from here back to the highs. I might take Netflix off here soon if we put in new highs. Again, wanted to see SPY roll over and the rest of the market roll over. If that does not happen here, I'm going to have to exit out of these trades. TLT looks like it might break down here. So watch this zone on TLT. Gold coming down a bit. Netflix getting rejected into that 1075 top zone again. Let's see if we manage to slip from here. And Bitcoin coming down a bit, so hopefully MSTR pays you, fam. What? MSTR at the highs makes 0 sense. Bitcoin's literally at the lows, so yeah. Hold on to your puts, bro. They fucking with prices, but trust. I think that 325 target is probably a given. We'll see what's up. Stay below this again. You have those lower targets. Nice little flip here off the highs on Netflix. So clean breakdown. If we get below the lows we just put in around 1070, 1068-ish, we can maybe have that move back down into 1045 that we discussed, which would be nasty. This is literally just EQ. It would just be a retest of EQ. But this range is so big that we can definitely get paid out on those puts. Gold bouncing into support we discussed, so be careful here. Potential bounce scenario on gold off these lows versus a breakdown. So again, Netflix below 1070, 1068 is what I'm watching here. Okay, I just realized I haven't even been checking chat. Yeah, bro, I told you, Pilo, you could have got out yesterday, reloaded here for the low. But fuck it, it is what it is, fam. You know, weeklies holding on to shit, it's tricky. You're better off just scalping them if you can, especially on something with this much premium. But I don't mind it here for a little scalp. Take small red on McDonald's 516. Up to you again, your call. It's like, bro, we still got a grip of time. I don't know when y'all got in. Some people got in up here. I didn't add that day. Everyone has different entries, different trades. I've issued so much stuff, so make that decision for yourself. But I don't think it's the worst trade. Sure, SPY is above the level we discussed, but McDonald's itself hasn't even broken back above that 318.50 trigger level. So if you want to sit on it for a bit, go for it. If you start getting back above 318.50 and you want to take it off, your call. But like I said, SPY has a lot of overhead resistance to the left en route to that 550 potential target. Like here, we're going right into EQ. So there's a lot of resistance here to the left for me to say, yeah, you know what, take off all your puts, we're headed higher. Can't really say that. It's going to be hard to get over all this, at least not easily in my opinion. We'll see, might be mistaken. Netflix still holding into this top zone again. Want to see us break below this range, or I'm going to go ahead and take those off. And McDonald's small pullback here on the 3-minute. SPY might even be okay for a small 0 DTE put here into this 1618, which is EQ. So into 539.50 if you want to scalp a short. For fast active hands, you can. Anywhere above, I would probably stop out. And again, fast, active, small size, if you're taking 0 DTEs. Look at the squeeze on Apple. Maybe don't take those. Yeah, it's a fat squeeze on Apple here. But yeah, this is EQ. So technically this is the level we should retest and come down a bit if they are going to come down. McDonald's, nice little pullback. So again, your call. But I don't think McDonald's is bad. We still have a bit of time on those too. If it was like a weekly or something, different story. whips. I'm not taking it myself, but semis look interesting here for a fade maybe. Again, not taking it myself. Looking at AVGO at 183. Sheesh. I regret not taking the longs at 161. Was that Monday? Yeah, Monday when I called the bottom at 161, up 20 bucks in 3 days. 10%. Nasty. Moment of truth here on Netflix again. Breakout from the range. Probably gonna call it on those. If we come down, I'll go ahead and sit on that. And then SPY into that EQ. Again, want to see it roll over, break down from there. Or the sells are going to be invalid short term and we're going to break out higher. Don't know if anyone took that 0 DTE. If you did, be careful with it. Nice little reds here on Coca-Cola. Let's see if the rest of the market can do something similar. One thing I don't like is TLT coming down. This does not line up with the narrative we want. And Bitcoin just broke out. Well, not broke out, but we just put a high above 93K. So careful here. I still think this is probably just a little pump fake before heading lower, but we do need the breakouts here. Sorry, breakdowns across the board here. I'd probably still sit on that, bro. I don't know how your premiums are, but I think that trade's still valid. Moment of truth here. So it looks like you might get paid out if you took those sells into EQ. Still too early to tell. We need to pull back to at least into 537 before I could say, hey, you could have made money on that trade. For now, just small ticks. But I didn't take it myself. Definitely looked decent. Just didn't really want to risk money on a 0 DT. I got enough on my hands with the Netflix I took right here. J&J coming down a bit. Yup, new lows. Interesting. Let's see if we can stay below that level and push lower. New lows on GOD. Good soup, good soup. And TLT now starting to push up, so that's great. Again, for the bearish narrative to work out on the markets, we want to see TLT break out above EQ. The longer TLT stays below this level, the longer, I mean, not the longer, but you just want to remain cautious if you're a bear. TLT above EQ and markets rolling over is good progress for the bears, but TLT below EQ and markets pushing higher like we are doing here is obviously not good if you're short. So let's see what develops next few minutes. For me personally, one thing I'm watching here is Netflix. This is just because it's one of the trades I currently put on today. But again, EQ test here on SPY. range on Netflix. We have a couple things to watch. Let's see what Bitcoin's doing. Bitcoin, nothing crazy. Want to see Bitcoin back under 93K for now. Gold's starting to slip here, so decent. Don't know if anyone did reshort on gold. If you didn't, or you forgot to take them off yesterday. Not you forgot, like, bro, that's an excuse. Oh, I forgot to take them off, or oh, I was doing this, or whatever. Like, that's an excuse, bro, and it's inexcusable, to be honest with you. You're responsible for managing your trades, because people always come with an excuse. Oh, I fell asleep, or oh, this or that. It's like, all right, bro. Long story short, if for whatever reason you didn't manage, hopefully we can get back into that 300 level, and if we do break the lows from yesterday, that's when we can potentially see all these other downside targets. But for now, I would assume this is just maybe like a potential inverse head and shoulders if they respect 303.96. So we need to lose about another dollar or two on gold before it's anything significant. Then Netflix looks like it might try to break out here, so careful if you took that. Small pullback on SPY into EQ. Small pullback on Apple. So again, want to see if the markets can really roll over here or not. Back above 1076 and any new highs again. I'm gonna probably just go ahead and call it on this. It's still super early, barely 708, but not really trying to sit on something that expires this week or sit on any 0DTs. Like SPY didn't actually get, I didn't try to even get filled, honestly, but if you would have taken this, for example, and we do start pushing higher here like we are, you definitely don't want to sit on a 0DT or a weekly or anything like that. If you're in a 516 or a June trade or something like that and you still want to try to manage your own levels, that's fine. But anything short dated, you don't really have that liberty. Nice uptakes here on TLT, but the action is pretty, I don't want to say concerning, but it's interesting because again, TLT hasn't really given us a clear direction, but it hasn't broken down. So the fact that TLT hasn't broken down, I'll call the bluff here on the markets. We're probably gonna roll over from here if I had to guess, unless TLT breaks down. If TLT breaks down here, then sure, they're gonna go for the breakout. But for now, as long as TLT is trying to push higher and get back above EQ, I would say this is a call the markets bluff. We're probably gonna roll over. Alright, nice little flip here. Nothing major yet, but small flip on SPY. Let's see if they can get back under EQ. And this is happening at the same time that TLT is going for that breakout back above its own EQ. So that's great development here. SPY below its EQ and TLT trying to get above its EQ. So nice. Netflix, it's still in its range. Not really too happy with the trade until we start breaking below 1068. If I'm being honest with you guys, under 1068, I like the trade a lot better. But the longer we stay in this range, the higher probability we probably break out. And SPY, small bounce off EQ. So let's see if they can manage to get under that. Nice flip here on Bitcoin. So Ramiro, you probably freaking out. If you want to send me an update and DM, let me know how you doing. But again, I think you should be fine to sit on that. So your call. Let me know if you've done anything or you need help with something. But we got a nice little flip on Bitcoin here, back under 93K. So I should continue to drive lower and hopefully you could get paid on that. And like I said, into 934, the overnight lows, if you want to book there or take some off there, that's fine. But ultimately, I think you'll probably get 925, which will be a pretty nice payout for you on those if you manage to hold into those lows. So green ticks again here on SPY, and now small rejection on TLT. So again, let's watch this development, but they're both dancing around their EQ. TLT a lot lower. The one that's really on the EQ is SPY. So let's watch what it does around here. Netflix still in its range. Again, if we stay within, I'll continue to hold, but I am really looking for the breakdown here. Anything above, I might just call it. Small bounce on V off of the lows. So a lot of names bouncing off support. T-Mobile back into that 260 zone. Bro, this breakdown about to be nasty if we get it. I just looked at the options on Netflix. I think we favor this breakdown here. I don't know about forcing it, bro. I just checked the option the whole week. The flow has been favoring the downside, but you just needed to get this out that liquidity. So they already swept the majority of the liquidity. Let me check the volume actually. If the option, so pretty much the way it works is you have open interest, right, and you have volume. There's different ways you get squeezed. Whoever, for example, you, since you've been sitting on it, or anyone who has been sitting on it, on this little squeeze, they crush everybody's contracts, right? So if you've been trading this entire zone, up here everybody is crushed, but the options still favor the downside. So if you do get the break of these levels, I think you'll get paid out pretty good on the downside. I'm gonna probably wait, but I'm telling you, if we do get the flip, those puts are gonna pay fat. And the spy's trying to go for the breakout here. All right, moment of truth here. What's Bitcoin doing? Bitcoin's still coming down a little bit. Yeah, I'm not mad at it. I'm full ported on it. Yeah, gang, I'm telling you, if you would have taken some off, even one contract, you could have probably bought two with that amount of capital, or maybe not. I don't know what they were worth yesterday for you, but definitely a little ugly here, especially cause bro, they expire tomorrow. So if you're shorting here tactically, fuck it. But like for example, if you're shorting here, one, you're getting a massive ass discount from yesterday. And two, you can get them way closer to the money for the same price your cons were probably trading yesterday or whatever. So you're getting closer to the money for half off or whatever. But if you obviously can't do that, I feel it. But this is not a bad trade for us. Just speaking from a premium and price perspective, these are at a massive bargain. Out here in the elephant grade. Berkshire and TQ here. Nice little push higher here on TLT. So again, my comments remain the same. One, SPY's about to probably deliver the at 541.50 target here. But the comments remain the same in the aspect that TLT should not be holding up and pushing higher here, assuming this is a real market breakout. So we're either going to potentially flip here in the markets into these targets and TLT breaks out here, or TLT is going to break down rather soon. It has not done either. So again, I'm going to assume this is a bluff on the markets for now, and they can potentially roll over from these highs. TLT looks like it's going to push the breakout here. And then GLD trying to hold a form of support under, so this was a support at 305.50-ish, currently below, trying to form a base to go back above that level. And then small new highs here on Netflix. Nice little flip here on Netflix, but again, not too interested unless we get below 1068. And then target just about delivered here on SPY. Not a perfect tag to the penny, but just about. So if you were long SPY on that breakout above EQ, consider this your target here for now if you were scalping tactically. So again, TP here on SPY if you want to short fast hand 0DT, something like that. Might be viable, but again, probably not going to try it myself. Definitely glad I didn't try it earlier. Can work here, but probably going to pass on it. Like I said, I have Netflix, and that's probably the only risk for the super short, fast, for fast tactical trades. Everything else I have time on. So let's see what happens here. If not in a trade and you want to take this fast short here on SPY, that's okay. I'm not against it. Let's see. What are their prices? I might throw a couple $100 just for. They're not too bad. I don't know. They're charging 250-ish right now for an at the money. Potential downside on SPY back to the EQ is about a $2 downside move, and then below that another $2 if we get down to 537.50, which was the downside targets if we broke down. So about a $4 move, you're paying 250 up front. It's okay. You'll probably double your money on it if you get your targets. Nothing, not too attractive, especially not for the 0DTs. I'll take a 0DT or something shorter dated when I think it's really cheap, like Netflix. But SPY, to be honest with you, these 0DT prices aren't the cheapest. You can literally get a put on Netflix for the same price as you can get a 0DT on SPY. Netflix has 2 times as much intrinsic value that you can gain as you do on SPY. So just like I said, I look for bargains, and I don't think SPY is the best bargain, but for a trade, it's not terrible either. Bitcoin coming down here. If we lose 92.6k, that's going to be an interesting development, and then you'll probably get that breakdown you want on MSTR. So if you're hanging in there, good luck. Under 92.6k here on Bitcoin, you'll get that breakdown on MSTR back to your overnight lows. And again, the price is being erratic here, in my opinion. Not erratic, that's the wrong choice of words. But the price is being unusual here because Bitcoin's trading a little lower. Not sure why MSTR is trading here. The few times I've tried fading MSTR myself, I've noticed it tends to diverge a little bit from Bitcoin. And even after Bitcoin does start to melt and break down, MSTR will lag a little bit to come down and catch up and pay you on those puts. Might not be the case today, but the few times I've traded it, I've noticed that. So just be mindful. If we put one more new high on Netflix above 1082, I'm gonna probably just go ahead and call it on that. And SPY did fill the high here now. One key thing to note here is TLT is pushing into EQ and trying to get back above here, while SPY is at the highest point it's been today. So again, my comments remain the same. This might be a bluff on the markets, and we're about to get a breakdown real soon, and TLT is going to break out from here. And this development is not something I'm mentioning from today. This TLT development has been going on for the past couple days. couple weeks actually. We've been tracking this development. Now we're here at the point of control, threatening to get above EQ for a breakout. If TLT breaks out, like I said, the markets are headed lower. There's no way TLT is breaking out while the markets are rallying. So that has to get taken care of itself rather soon here. I'd remain short markets or short markets here if not already short. And those SPY puts, remember I said earlier they weren't really at a premium. Sorry, not really at a discount or a bargain. I guarantee you they're down at least 30% here, which would make them a little more reasonable for a trade. Actually not down too much. They're still around the same prices, maybe not. But regardless, tiny bit cheaper. But yeah, not the best deal on SPY 0DTs. I would probably refrain from it. And then TLT, like I said, moment of truth here above EQ. I'm still here. Just kind of sitting on hands, not doing too much. Waiting a few minutes, see if we can get the markets to roll over here. If not, I'll probably go ahead and start taking some positions off. For now, not doing too much. Just gonna sit here and see what the market does. But yeah, riskiest trade in terms of time and whatnot. It's probably gonna be the Netflix I have on. Everything else I'll be okay and fine to manage. Just Netflix I need to roll over relatively soon, or I'm probably gonna end up taking a hit on that trade. But it is what it is. So let's see if we can manage to roll over here on the markets. So again, still here, just sitting. Again, not doing too much. Want to see if this pullback can be a little deeper. Nothing of size yet. Netflix, like I said, I want to see a breakdown below 1068. But for now, I'm just gonna sit here on hands and manage. Just wait, see if that happens. If that happens, great. I managed lower, take profits off the table. But for now, like I said, not doing too much, just sitting on the same trades. I had totally forgotten, but we have Google earnings today after the close, so that might be interesting. We got Google and we got T-Mobile. So let's see what this develops as overnight. If it's a dud, if it moves. A pretty interesting spot here on Google. Definitely has a bit of room to go up if they want it. Probably won't take it myself. I'll go ahead and take a look at the options right now in a little bit, see if I like anything or if I notice anything unusual. But yeah, I just noticed right now I had forgotten about Google earnings after the close. And then as for the trades, I'm still waiting. Not really trying to do too much in this range. Still relatively early. We give trades a bit more time, see if they work, and if not, just gonna go ahead and call it. But let me check the chain on Google, see if I like something. No, I haven't been talking. I've been muted. I'm just chilling here, sitting on my desk. And not gonna lie, I'm gonna probably this is probably one of the few I'm gonna probably stop doing YouTube streams for a minute. I'm gonna do private streams with the group for now, just cause well, it don't really matter. But yeah, I'm gonna probably stop streaming on YouTube for a bit. So if you in the Discord, you good. But if not, I'm gonna probably just keep it private for a little bit for privacy issues. And earlier I mentioned TOT breaking down. So rejected into EQ. Now they're actually threatening that breakdown here while SPY's pushing back up. So this makes a little more sense now. TOT threatening a breakdown while SPY threatening a breakout. This is valid price action. Earlier, the price was not lining up. So let's see how it unfolds the next maybe 15 minutes. Well, actually, not even the next 15 minutes, into the next hourly open. So in about 5 minutes. I'm not really managing anything. I'm just sitting. That's the thing. You got to know when to do stuff, when not to do stuff. And at this point, I'm not really doing too much myself. I don't think anybody has anything shorter dated except for a few people, and you know I think they're doing all right. What do you mean technically not that bad? I just saw a message. My bad. I'm trying to help someone. Yeah, it's a different story, bro. Let me reply to you in private. KLT giving us the breakdown here, so watch out. And then okay price action here on MSTR. If you watch on Ramiro, you want it to get back under EQ and stay below, and you should have a decent drive down to the overnight lows from here. Fingers crossed. But again, this is gonna be your level to watch for now. 348.50, let's say. And bro, again, if we get into the overnight lows at 334, 325, after understanding your situation a little better, if you see 334, definitely take some off there, and then you can hold some into 325 in case we get there. But definitely into 334, take some off. So some Trump executive order news just came out. I don't see a reaction yet. Don't know if the markets are gonna react, but I myself, you guys know how I am. I don't trade news. Just letting you guys know some deep sea executive order. Trump. Let's see. So something about the deep sea mining industry, but again, not too concerned or interested in that. That moment of truth here. I'm probably gonna go ahead and call it across the board if we do get the breakout on SPY. Breakout on SPY, I'm gonna just take off some of my risk, and then I'll come back and reassess later into London close. But for now, yeah, that's just what I'm gonna do. Breakout, take off some risk, come reassess later in the day, and if we do manage to break down from here, I'll go ahead and hold positions. And that's for the aggressive trades. 516, I'm still gonna manage a little more loosely. Right, this fool complaining he's down $5 on his. Yeah, I was green yesterday, or even this morning. Walmart was green. Yes, we're up higher here, but depending where you loaded, we're still well below Wednesday's highs. So it's not a big deal. Again, if you have swings, if you loaded at a good price at a good time, you're doing okay. If you got in late chasing at the lows, different story. So that's why I said your guys' entries are important. I can't tell you. I tell you guys when to enter and where, but if you guys get filled an hour after, it's gonna be a big difference. It's not really the same trade. T-Mobile looks decent here if you're not already in it. I'm not adding. Like I said, I already have a lot of trades. I'm not adding to anything. I'm just sitting here, nothing to do in ranges. If you're adding or scaling in, or making decisions within a range, don't know what to tell you. Wait for the range breakout or breakdown. But in terms of managing my swings, I'm not taking them off yet. I'm not adding. I'm not doing nothing. I'm just waiting to see what develops from here. Sambi, I don't even know who you is, bro. And you could do whatever you want. Like, you don't even like. You want to buy shit, you want to sell shit. Go ahead and do whatever you want. It's your decision, bro. Like, yeah, it is what it is. Fuck it. If it don't pay, don't pay. But we haven't even gotten London closed. Still super early. Spy still into resistance. We'll see what's up. I'm not really tripping on it yet. I didn't have too much size. Only had like 4 cons today, so fuck it. You have the 1030s, nah? Fuck, we'll see, bro. So you basically betting back to bottom of the range where we bounced from. So we had the bounce here. This was the original set. This paid, then this. So if you didn't take it off here or here, now we're up here. So to get paid, you need to be back here, I'm assuming, or maybe you'll go break even or some shit. It's hard, bro. Not gonna lie. Book the 1030s, but reload below the 1050s. Fuck it. I mean that makes it a little better, being honest with you, because at least you short from up here. But still, to be honest with you, the odds don't look too good. If we don't flip here soon before the London close, yeah, it's probably a wrap, bro. Gotta make a call real quick. I'm gonna go on mute for a bit. But like I said, yeah, it's still early. We still have London closed the entire day. I wouldn't really count uh one side out the park just yet. So far, SPY did break out below the zone we called pre-market, that 536.50, pushed above EQ. Technically, like I said, they can head into the 550 target up here. Doesn't mean they will, but this is definitely viable. You have overhead resistance set left here with the previous day high. If they manage to get above the previous day high, then yeah, you'll get that 550. But those are the levels to watch for now. And if they break above that 550, we're probably headed to those 575 targets. And again, all of those were shared. What was that, Monday? I didn't load the calls myself on SPY, but the trade was definitely viable. We'll see what we get. Sorry, I'm gonna go on mute real quick. Hopefully the call didn't take too long. Yo, I'm back. My bad, y'all. That took a little longer than I wanted to. I was negotiating for a little bit. All right, where are we at? SPY still into its GP top range. So for now, as long as below, I would refrain from any longs. We're right around that top range target we discussed in the morning, so we can squeeze maybe about another 1.5% if the markets really want it. But at this point, I'd be very careful chasing. I'm still holding the shorter data I mentioned, so I still have some short date risk. And yes, the Netflix trade is losing. Big whoop. Like, okay, there's many other trades that are doing just fine on the swings. So the fact that one aggressive, risky trade isn't working isn't the biggest deal to me. If that's the only trade you have on or you have a big risk on it, that's a different story. I'm gonna try to catch up. Let's see. Check this real quick. Swing calls. You can take the Apple calls if you want, bro, but I literally issued Apple longs under 180. So getting long here at 205, it's a mistake in my opinion. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, so this was 4.8. Yeah, I feel it, bro. It's just at this point, you're better off if you don't want to force the sells, which you shouldn't force a trade. Don't take them. But if you're buying here, I think you're forcing the sells. If I'm being honest, sorry, forcing the buys. If I'm being honest with you, Apple on 4.8. Like I said, I just sent that out in the chat. I mentioned going long, which was probably here, down here. Damn, when was it? On this day, on 4.8, the day that we had this move down. Whoops. On the day we had this move down, I mentioned getting long on a move back above 180. So if you got long below here, or even, on a breach above this level, that's fine. But chasing up here is not the best idea. We still have the 786 target from this, what was this, last week? Remember last week, opened here. We said, hey, close the gap. We closed it and some, bottomed out here. Now these are the previous targets we had. Can that still happen and we go to that 786? Sure. Then above 786, we have a bigger breakout, which would align with that 575 target we mentioned on SPY. But at the same time, you have a big layer of resistance here overhead. This is where we broke down from on SPY, right? So we broke down here. We're simply just trying to retest that level we broke down from. So getting long into resistance, I don't think that's the best idea. Can we break out above resistance and go to that 875? Yeah, for sure. But just, again, you're getting maybe this much upside versus this much downside risk. If the roles were reversed and you were risking this much, whoops, to make this much, I'd say that's a lot more viable, which is kind of what you're getting on the sells. Shorting into resistance here, you can make this entire range, and your risk is a lot smaller. So the risk to reward is decent. But again, it doesn't mean we can't go into these zones. If we do, that's fine. I'll wait to short up here if levels allow. But names like Netflix are already overextended. Doesn't mean we can't go higher. Let's pull the 2618 up. Oh, we already have it. No, we don't. So if they break above 1091, they can go up to 1150. I'm not saying we go there, just letting you guys know if the market does break out. I don't see why, obviously everything else wouldn't. So for now, watch these levels. But again, a lot of resistance here to the left. And even if we break above this little level, which is the previous day high, we still have more resistance to the left and to this entire zone. What's CVXY at? Yeah, UVXY is still not near the lows like I wanted. I theoretically would have loved to buy some back again in the into 26. Might not happen. So we have two scenarios. One, bounce off these lows which we're holding. Or two, break down off these lows and SPY gets that breakout of 575 and then we can buy into the 26s. And then SOXS almost at its bottom range target. And I also did mention to take off SOXS when it was above 29. So I get you guys entries and exits if you don't manage. That's up to you guys. I mean, that's on you guys. But yeah, lows, breakdown versus breakout on UVXY, and then you have the same exact scenario on SPY. Breakout versus breakdown. So it's pretty tough to put on a trade on either side here. Like I told you guys earlier, this might be a bye week. We have Apple next week. If we're up here trading up here on after Apple earnings, then I would a lot more confidently say, hey, load up size on swing puts. But as long as we don't get Apple out the way, I'd be very careful, because if we do get to squeeze higher on Apple next week on earnings, I would not be surprised to see a SPY at 575. If and when I see SPY at 575, 585, if that happens, the real target I'll blindly short if we get there is 587. If I see that, I'll throw size on SPY again. Other than that, I'm not too interested in the sells. Just be patient. That's why I've been telling you guys, leave room to add and scale in next week, even if you have time. We got T-Mobile today after hours if anyone's still holding, and then we got Google as well. Other than that, not too much until next week for earnings. And then SPY might try to go for that breakout here. Again, I'm probably not going to do much. I might go ahead and just cut what I have left from my weekly risk. And then just leave the May contracts on. But yeah, everything looks like it's breaking out higher. Those Netflix weeklies I haven't even looked at them, but I'm sure they're down a grip. So it is what it is. This was a high risk trade for me, so I'm not too concerned. If it was anything high risk, I have small size on, so it is what it is. Let me check everything real quick. TLT at the lows here now, so that divergence has taken care of itself. TLT breakdown on the SPY breakout. Again, it's still early. We don't even have London close yet. One thing I will be watching into London close is if we manage to pivot back below the golden pocket. So into London close here, depending what side of this box we are on is going to determine our fate into the close. Above, we'll probably get the squeeze to 550 as mentioned, and if we manage to get back below and stay below into the close, we'll probably make a drop back into the EQ. So that's what I'm going to be watching here in the next few minutes. But again, London has not closed yet. So both of these ranges could still be delivered. I'm not forcing any more sells. If we come down, but I'm not forcing anything here. Yo, I just saw your question, normal guy. Let me know if I answered it. I don't know what you mean by confirmed. It depends what time frame you're trading on. So for example, is the day I issued the buys on Apple above 181. The next day when we immediately reclaimed, engulfed, held the lows, respected previous day low. So like I said, I issued it this day, but technically you wanted to catch it on the way up. Even if you caught it on the way down, you're fine. But I don't know about buying up here. Let me try to clear this up a bit. That's a little better. It's not an impulse entry and it's not confirmed by current price action. It was just, I knew 180 was a solid buyable level. Let's go back. So I don't know when we're gonna bounce. I don't know anything. All I know is I see levels, right? On the way down here, we had support into 180, which was, let's say here. I think on the specific write-up, I think I said 180, 181 or something like that. So let's say here, this is the zone you're watching. Again, I issued it. I issued the dip buy on this day. I did not know what was going to happen in the future. The only data I had at that point was this. That 180 had acted as a solid support level. So this day I said, hey, if we get back above this level, matter of fact, let's see at what time I sent the write-up. I sent it pre-market when we were trading. Where were we trading? Around 5 a.m. So maybe around here. So around here, when we were trading here, I said, hey, we're bullish above this level, right? So the minute you lose this level, not bullish, right? Below here, you could pretend this is invalidation or not bullish. You could buy it at a discount, you could buy it whatever. But the real trade or the trigger or the entry per se is when you get this shift back above those levels. So on this shift, which again, you could have bought in at better prices, which was Wednesday's overnight lows. No, Wednesday's after hour lows. But again, the thesis is a break back above 181. So when you get this break back above these levels, this is your trade. And it paid a little bit, and you could have reloaded back into this breakout level, and it pushed even higher from those levels. So, you know, you would have done okay. But again, the idea was from down here. That's how I would quote unquote take it. Can you buy these lows? Sure. But the thesis was on a reclaim of 180, 181. That's the write-up I sent out. And it doesn't always work out that way. We can give the breakout and then immediately take it back. So it's not always going to work out that way. It's like Bitcoin, for example. Wait, that is not it. So I've been watching it under 93,850. We're currently below it. As long as we stay below that 93,850, I still really like the sells. Can we come up, sweep these highs before heading lower? Oh, come on. Can we do this, sweep highs, then come down? Sure. But as of now, while we respect this level, I would remain short below this for this drive lower. So imagine the same thing you just saw on Apple, but inverted. How do you invert this? There we go. So remember what I just covered on Apple? I was like, okay, while the thesis is get long above 180, so pretend this is 180. If you got long below, that's great, but the real trade happens once we get above 180. So currently above 180, we got the small retracement that Apple did. Now you want to see if we could do this, right? And again, this is the inverse. So theoretically, you really want to see Bitcoin come down, but this is a similar setup or entry style as the one I just covered on Apple, just inverted. Let me know if that makes sense. And again, if at any point you get back above the level that you're currently looking as your validation point, it's going to invalidate you. Can we sweep highs come down? Sure. But the quote unquote trade is below this level. Let me know if that makes sense. So it works both ways if you're buying the dip or if you're shorting. I really don't want to add to Netflix, but I'm not going to do it. But these levels look ridiculous. Let me check what those trading at. If they're 30-50% off, I might have to maybe nibble. I don't do it on the lower time frame. Your entries, you can't get them on the. Yes, you want to execute on a lower time frame, but your confirmations can't come on a lower time frame because you're gonna get faked out way too much. So, for example, if I was trading the 3 minute, I'd be like, oh, breakout, oh, breakdown, oh, breakout, oh, breakdown. When in reality, on the 45, we have not done anything for the most part. Zoom out a little bit, you have a much bigger playground before you get triggers. So, yeah, you can choose a time frame of your own, but generally I wouldn't do executions off of anything lower than the 45. 45 and 3 hour. Why 45 and 3 hour? Because that gives you a wide range. It's like you're setting your targets beforehand. You're setting your targets on price. You're setting your targets on the time. You calculate everything beforehand. Would you want to set your goal, your target for take profit at $1 or $5? It makes sense to go for the bigger amount. I'm not telling you to be greedy, but just logically, you want to go for the bigger reward time and time again. Same way with your time risk. Why would you tell yourself, hey, I'm only going to give myself 30 seconds to be profitable on this trade? Like that's, realistic. It's not too realistic. You say 5 minutes, okay, maybe you can make money in 5 minutes, but even then it's like, why are you going to do that to yourself? So you want to give yourself at least 30, at least 3 hours, being honest. But bare minimum is 45. Within that 45-minute candle, if you can get a squeeze in a 12-minute candle in the span of those 45, that's great. But you have, multiple 12-minute candles that can deliver those profits within that 45-minute window, as opposed to saying, hey, I only have 12 minutes to make these profits, or 3 minutes, or whatever. You do want to micromanage, but essentially the goal is to give yourself room while you're trade. Give your trade room to breathe and work and time and all that. If you're, cramping up your trades in time in terms of risk, time, levels, all that, it's going to be a lot harder to manage, or you're going to have to be a lot more aggressive and tactical with your managing. If you're a little more loose with the way you kind of write up your trades, it gives you wiggle room to work with them. But if from the jump, before you even enter the trade, you're taking super tactical trades, that's what it is. It's a tactical trade. It doesn't leave you much room for error. So in my opinion, you're better off leaving room for error. Why? Because like I've told you guys time and time again, you're human. You're going to create errors. If you're a robot, an AI, an algorithm that is going to have very few errors ever in terms of mathematical, mental, robot doesn't even have a mental to worry about. You do. So you're going to create a lot of mistakes. And if you trade like you're not going to make mistakes, it's not going to go well. So the less tactical, the better, in my opinion. Leave yourself room to work. If you're being super tight on stuff, it does work. It can. It's just a lot harder to manage, in my opinion. It's a lot more robotic, which is fine. But you do have to have a solid system. If you don't have a solid system, it's not going to work out. Small little pullback right here on Netflix. Didn't add. It is what it is. But those did look a little decent. Surprisingly, they're not super cheap. I thought they'd be down more on premium. Yeah, for swing entry, even if it's a scalp, um, you can still use those. So the Apple example, let's say you're basing your entry off the 45 or 3, you could still execute on the 3 minute for your scalp, but you would still want to, base your idea off the higher time frame. And 93K remains the level to watch on Bitcoin, currently 93,250. So if we get back below 93K, it's going to be a good development for the bears. And I'm telling you guys, Bitcoin is probably one of my number one things on watch right now. If you guys would trade Forex or futures or anything like that, like I've mentioned before, shorting spot Bitcoin seems like a viable, decent trade. If you want to take something like MSTR sells or some other type of sells on a sympathy play, you can. But I think the best thing to do, in my opinion, is just going outright with Bitcoin. One interesting development here is McDonald's breaking down below the lows, while the rest of the market's probably at the highs or near the highs. So again, the rotation strike again. What I mean by that if you shorted any of the main names, you're not doing too well. If you shorted something like McDonald's, you're holding up okay. IBM holding up okay. I hadn't even noticed IBM was back at the lows. So that lotto trade from yesterday doing okay. PM not doing too much. T-Mobile was up a bit. Yeah, so T-Mobile reshort for ER might be viable. Let's see if I'm down. I'm probably not adding just because it's a lotto for ER overnight. I'd much rather add tomorrow after earnings if levels and prices allow. But let me see how I'm doing on that trade. Hopefully we could get a move down on T-Mobile like we did on IBM. Yeah, a lot of names that were green yesterday. The update I sent you guys on how stuff was performing, a lot of the greens are gone. Now we have super small greens or small reds, depending the name. Some names have deeper reds than others. Berkshire's still slightly green. Coca-Cola still small greens. And T-Mobile swing from A16 we put on a couple days ago is still slightly green too. So probably not adding. If it would have been down, I would have considered it, but not here. Sheesh. I might actually nibble here. No, I'm gonna just refrain from it. Fuck it, it is what it is. The ads look decent here on Netflix, to be honest with you, just to lower my cost average a little bit on what I took earlier. But I'm gonna probably just refrain from it, just because I don't want to have any unnecessary risk. If this doesn't pull back from here, honestly, it's gonna go max loss if I'm being honest with you guys overnight. So be ready for that risk, which I don't want to do. Like I said, I'm already down a bit on the contracts I loaded earlier. If they come back from the grave and hit tomorrow, great, it is what it is. But I don't know if I want to add more risk to the specific trade here. I'd much rather wait until next week, see if I got to reassess. Hold on. All right, I'm back. Yeah, like I said, premium wise, it looks viable. Just not gonna do it myself. If I did not have the risk on already, I probably would entertain the thought here. But the fact that I already risked some money on it did not work out. I do not want to add any more risk to this specific trade. Still have some contracts, and if they hit tomorrow, cool. If they don't, it is what it is. But I don't plan on adding any risk. And then, like I said, majority of the swings are still relatively flat or small reds. So if we do break out here, you want to manage before then, you can do so. Alright, so coming into London close here, some key things to note is TLT is pushing back into EQ, which is definitely not something we wanted to see. SPY is well above its EQ, and TLT is right around its EQ, so the divergence from earlier is starting to develop here once again. I still don't really trust the upside. I would not be getting long up here. Sells look okay. They look enticing, but they haven't been working so far. So careful if you're short. I'm probably going to go ahead and call it here myself. I did say the Netflix re-ads or for a re-short here looked really good. I'm probably going to go ahead and pass on it. But premiums wise, they are pretty cheap. So if anyone decides to take it, good luck. I'm probably going to go ahead and end stream here. I'll be around. If you guys need anything, hit me in the chat. As for the swings, I'm still holding just about everything. Same things I told you guys: Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Walmart, the T-Mobile lottos for ER. So I have just about the same things. And like I said, the only difference is that we were green yesterday. Now they're back to break even or small losses, which I'm okay with. I still plan on holding them. Thesis remains the same. But yeah, if any guys have any shorter dated, definitely manage. All right, fuck it. Let's see if they flip, but I'm gonna call it here. Hope you have a good day. We'll tap in tomorrow. I'll send an update later on. And I'm writing those cons left. Let's see if they come back from the grave. We'll see what's up.